TikTok, you're getting the behind the scenes. All right, there we go. We are live. We're live here on YouTube and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to go to TikTok, it's just like some kind of, I don't know, 10 levels of hell here that we've got going on. We're live on TikTok and we're live on YouTube at the same time. Although YouTube is where you're going to get the full Monty, right? Like over there, I don't even know where I'm at anymore. On YouTube, you're gonna see all the graphics and all the cool bells and whistles, and we're gonna be playing the Kill Reel video here in a little while. So honestly, we encourage you to go over to YouTube because that's where you're gonna see everything. But we'll stay live here on TikTok for a little while, just so we can kind of push people over from one to the other. So thank you for joining us tonight. We're gonna be celebrating the 2024 Spookshow Awards. So it's that wonderful, beautiful time of year again. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and ghosts, welcome to the spine-tingling extravaganza of the year. It's time to dim the lights, summon the spirits, and gather around for the 4th annual All-American Spook Show 2024 Spook Show Awards. Get ready to be hypnotized by the gross as we celebrate the world of the Spook Show. From the darkest corners of movie terror to the nastiest bowel movements of Crapsterpiece Theater. Tonight, we honor the projection booths of the grindhouses and the makers of your favorite cult classics. We remember the animals lost. That's for Donnie, that part. and all the highlight kills. From Kung Fu to Canon, Hammer to VHS, vampires sucking to sucky movies, we're giving out spookies to those most deserving. So, get ready for an evening filled with thrills, laughs, and all kinds of fears, I guess, either way. As we recognize the things that make the world of the Spook Show so great. The stage is set, the monsters are lurking, and the Spook Show Awards await their recipients. Welcome to a night where fears and jeers take center stage. So, just like last year, Donnie had a little fancy opening ready for the show. What do you think?
Yeah, man.
Professor, you should
hit all the right spots. What's that?
Professor, next year we're going to get you to write something up because you're the wordsmith. You're the smart one around here. So we're going to get you to come up with a fancy opening for this thing.
That was pretty snappy. I thought that was snappy.
Good. If we let Donnie do it, it'll be like, "Hey guys."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I guess I got to read.
We'll do some shit. Have fun. Yeah, like I said, we're streaming here on TikTok and on YouTube. I'm pointing at the wrong thing. Either way, whichever one you're looking at us at, go check that out. Vice versa. We encourage everybody to stick with the YouTube feed, though, because that's where you're going to see everything. So, Donnie, I guess the stage is set. So let's go ahead and get into it. What's our first category here?
All right. So I think you'll have to pull it up there because I don't have it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right. Bam. All right. So we've got so here are our categories here. We've got the best older horror, best newer horror, best grindhouse gutter, best sucky summer. You guys can see it there and you can read it there. You can pause it if you want, or it's live or not.
We've got what I think is what are we doing? 18 to 20. I can't remember what the number is of categories and things that we got.
Something like that.
Somewhere between 18 to 20 different categories that we've got.
Yeah, I think it's about 20.
And if you don't regularly listen to the All-American Spook Show podcast, we encourage you to, obviously. Wherever you get your podcast, new episodes come out every Monday at 6 p.m. East. But if you don't, essentially we kind of rotate horror movies, so we do newer and older. So our dividing line is essentially Right Smoke the year 2000. Like anything from 2000 to today is new. Anything further back is old. Although it's funny because like something saved from 2000 is 24 years old, which doesn't seem like that long ago for us, but that's pretty old.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days we'll have to shift, like, we'll have to make the newer ones like 2005 or something, like we'll have to bump it up a little bit. Either way, yeah, so like that's one of our main criteria is the newer, older. What's the window of what we're talking about as far as the episodes, Donnie? What was it from?
I believe it's 181 to 230. Let me so
it's The Exorcist Believer. When we watched The Exorcist Believer last October, when that was brand new, when it first came out, that's the year, the quote unquote eligible period. That's where our little voting period starts. and our voting period ends on episode 231, which was Terrifier 2. So we don't
Yeah,
really
which actually we don't really number the episodes anymore.
yeah.
So it's from
That's where you want to look, from Exorcist Believer to Terrifier 2. That's what we're talking about here. And
Yeah.
all the points in between, including all the stuff that we do over on our YouTube channel, or here on the YouTube channel, I should say. We do Grindhouse Gutter, Video Vortex, and Hammer Horror and Order here on the YouTube channel. So
yeah, we're much more than a podcast.
yeah, well, we've become an empire.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you could say that, but
An empire of I don't know what. We're the kings of something. I don't know. Whatever it is.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Best older horror, that's where we'll start. So what are the nominees?
All right. So best older horror, we've got Halloween from 1978. You've got The Granny.
That was our Thanksgiving show last year.
I think it was, yeah.
It was.
We've got Don't Open Till Christmas. We've also got Tales from the Crypt. This was the and All Through the House episode.
Season 1, episode 2 of Tales from the Crypt.
Yep. And we've got They Live. This was our landmark episode, The Lost Boys. That was before we did Sucky Summer, but
yeah, that was the landmark episode 200, way back in March, I think it was.
Yep. We've got Frankenstein.
That's the original from 1931.
Yep. Phantasm 2. City of the Living Dead. House. Bram Stoker's Dracula, which we covered in the Sucky Summer, our vampire.
All right. Along nothing but I was going to say Dracula movies, but it was more than just Dracula. It was vampire movies.
Yeah, vampire movies. So Dracula from, was it
1931 as well?
1931, yep. Slumber Party Massacre. God, man, we just covered a lot.
Yeah.
And that's just older horror. And we finished with Alien.
So obviously the way this award basically shakes out is we go by our highest rated, because every episode we give out stars.
Yep.
It's simple to figure these out. So what was the highest rated older horror movie that we watched over the last calendar year?
All right. Winner is Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No surprise. 5 stars from all of us.
Yeah.
Really not much to add there. I mean, if you've ever if you've ever seen Alien, you shouldn't be shocked by this.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, there could have been, some are obviously better than others, but I don't know what else was close. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we had anything else that was 5 stars from all of us around.
No, and that's rare. That's rare air for us on the show. Like, all of us giving out 5 stars.
Yeah,
I don't know how often that's happened.
Yeah,
but not probably not more than 3 times, if that.
Just a few.
So we'll move on to newer horror, or what we call, I guess, newer horror.
So best newer horror is everything from 2000 to today that we've watched over the last calendar year.
Yeah. All right, and like we talked about, The Exorcist Believer. And this was our bonus episode, one Friday 13th. It was Freddy versus Jason. We got The Purge election year. Hereditary. Saint Maud. Hellraiser 7, I guess.
Yeah, Hellraiser Deader.
Yep. Summer of 84. Skinamarink. Hellraiser Hellworld, which may have been the last one we've the last Hellraiser we've covered
so far.
Bliss. I think Bliss is one of the ones that kicked off the Sucky Summer or Vampire Summer series.
I think it was the second vampire movie we watched.
We got 30 Days of Night. Shadow of the Vampire, Severance from 2006, I believe. And we ended with Terrifier 2.
Ended on a brutal note. So
yeah,
it began and ended with two brutal movies, but on different levels of brutal, right?
and also,
Terrifier
yeah, Terrifier 2 hasn't been released yet, but you know that'll come.
Yeah, as of the live stream tonight, but it's coming. Yeah, it'll be here.
Yeah. All right.
So what's the best newer one? Same criteria as the one before. It's just the highest rated newer one that we did.
Was Hereditary.
So what is that? 4.5?
That's about 4.2, I think. Yeah, pretty close to it. I think it was 4.2, which is still pretty high for a newer horror, which we tend to kind of lean our. Well, it really depends, but this was one that we couldn't recommend enough.
And Donnie, I remember correctly, you were the one that nominated that, or picked that movie, and then it's one of Smoke is your wife Tiana. She's on the show as well. It's one of her favorite movies, right? And y'all weren't able to be there when we actually recorded that episode.
I know. Yeah, that's true. Yes, but yeah, and unfortunately, she's not able to be here tonight for the live show. But yeah, that is one of her, not just favorite new movies, but just one of her favorite movies. Period.
Yeah.
And I think we saw it in the theater at least twice when it was first playing.
Yeah, that definitely is one that you see the quotes there. That is definitely, without a doubt, one that sticks with you. If nothing else, it's one of those movies. It's just like, what the hell, You're gonna think about it for a couple of days afterwards.
Oh yeah,
no, definitely.
All right, now we go to Smoke's one of Smoke's specialties.
Yeah, this is one of the things that we do on the YouTube channel, and the whole tell them, Smoke, what exactly is the Grindhouse Gutter? What's the whole point of the series?
It's basically to showcase movies that were out at the times of the grindhouses. If you were in an urban area, it would have been grindhouses. If you were in a more rural area, it would have been the drive-ins of the time. So we're talking about, it could go back as far, I mean, technically it could go back as far as like the 50s and stuff, but we don't necessarily, we don't really do that. So we haven't gone back that far, at least on it yet. So generally late 60s through early 80s, which, about that time is when the grindhouses started wrapping up and when video stores started coming along. So sort of that era, but, pre-video age. And showcasing stuff like Lucio Fulci, or it could be a kung fu movie. It could be just over-the-top action type flick, something like, say, Strike Commando, for instance. Although I think we did Strike Commando on that was
last year.
Video Vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so yeah, anything that would have played at the grindhouses during that peak era.
So what are the nominees, Donnie?
Yeah. So what we've done this year. We started off with Monsters Crash the Pajama Party.
Yeah, and that one, boy, I tell you what, that is some weird stuff. Like that. I mean, that's all I can say. Like, that's more of like something you would have seen like playing after a Woody Woodpecker cartoon or some shit, right in between movies.
Well, this one is definitely one that was geared. Yeah, even though it's the Grindhouse Gutter, like I was saying, it's we do drive-in type fare as well. This would have been something playing at the drive-in that they would have had people running out, in between the cars and stuff, dressed as monsters or whatever, and so it was one of those from that era that they don't, of course, do anymore. Although I think they should. Anybody who has a drive-in theater should do this around Halloween time. I think I would, might go out of my way to go to your, drive-in if you did do this. But yeah, that time period when they were interactive with the audience.
So there you go. If you're watching this and you own a drive-in, Smoke will come. If you play Monsters Pajama Party, wherever it is, he'll be there.
Well, yeah, if you do that and you have the monsters running through the cars, grabbing the girl or whatever and taking her back behind the screen and did the stuff playing out on the screen or whatever. Yeah, you do that and make it interactive. Yeah, I'll within reason. I'm not saying I'm going to California.
Yeah, exactly. Someone will reach out. I'm here in Blam Blam, California. Come on out. Ah, crap.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else we got?
Yeah, we've got Abby. Maniac, Rolling Thunder, The New York Ripper, 5 Elements Ninjas, Superfly. Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. Blood for Dracula. That's the one where I watched the wrong damn
Yeah, you
one.
still haven't watched it yet.
And then
Yeah,
vampires.
we've had 2 incidences of watching the wrong movie.
I know.
I was one of them.
Yeah. Massacre Mafia style. And we ended the Grindhouse Gutter for 2024, at least for this awards series, with Last House on Dead End Street.
So there you go. This is ultimately determined by the professor himself. So what do we got as the winner?
The winner, probably no surprise here. Smoke.
Maniac.
Yeah.
It is Maniac for sure. There's a lot of good ones in there, but I had to go with that one. I mean, that's tried and true. It's 5. It was one that was a 5 on the cleavers that we give out for horror movies on the Grindhouse, as well as a 10 on the gore score. So, I mean, not saying that there was Last House on Dead End Street also had that. I believe I gave that rating too, but I'm going with the Maniac because honestly, Last House on Dead End Street, I love that movie and everything, but it wasn't even for the Grindhouse district. It was pretty rare to have screened by then. It did screen some, but Maniac was all over the place at that time, and I think you're splitting hairs here. Like I said, I gave both movies the same rating, but I'm definitely going with Maniac for the top.
And we've got a couple comments from Fletch Kelman, I believe is how you pronounce that there on YouTube. It says Ilsa and Blood for Dracula, great flicks. And then he goes on to say Massacre Mafia style and Gone with the Pope, its sequel, are classics.
I didn't know it had a sequel.
It did. Well, it wasn't necessarily a sequel. It was just done by him that was kind of connected, but not necessarily a sequel. And then he says Maniac is so damn good as well. Man, you have mentioned some of the best. Yeah, for sure. And if you like what we just mentioned, go watch, stick here on the channel and go watch Grindhouse Gutter. It's a great series that what are we about 27, 28 episodes deep
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. There's tons here on the YouTube channel to go watch of those, man. It's a fun series, and those videos are always pretty cool because we show some videos and pictures, talk about some of the background of them. It's not the long form that you will get on a podcast. It's usually about 15 minutes or so. So if you enjoy any of that stuff, which it sounds like you do, go check that out. So Donnie, what do we got next?
All right, so we got the Sucky Summer, which was our vampire summer series. Great logo.
Yep.
so
it was sucky all summer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I guess in a good and a bad way, right?
Yeah. Which we'll get to.
Yep.
But we kicked it off with Cannon Fodder, which was Life Force.
Yeah, let's just start it off with some weird psychic vampire craziness.
Yeah. Then we covered Bliss, Near Dark.
Yeah, I think that was Colt Corner, right?
Yep, Colt Corner. Yeah, and then Bram Stoker's Dracula, and this was this was the Crapster piece. Vampires Suck.
Boy,
this could have been either way, but Night Hunter, and that was Video Vortex. And then Josh, this was your pick. It was 30 Days of Night.
Great gory vampire flick.
Yep. And then we just mentioned this on Grindhouse Gutter, Vampires. And we circled back to Cannon Fodder with Rockula. And then Dracula from 1931. And then we covered Bloodlust on Video Vortex, I believe. And then circled back to Colt Corner with Blackula. And then we went back to Crapster Piece with Once Bitten.
Was something that wasn't really Crapster Piece. I mean,
Not
it
really.
was. It is, but it ain't. It's like it's like one of those. It's so good, it's bad.
So I had nominated this, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of watching turds. I want to watch something that's I wouldn't mind sitting through. And anyway, and then we ended the Sucky Summer with Shadow of the Vampire. So the best Sucky Summer movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that list, there was some really good ones for sure, but
Mhm.
there is no surprise about that. This is like one of those rare moments for us too, where we're getting like a Oscar winner, right? So I don't think it's any surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard to argue there. So we'll move on to Colt Corner.
Now the point of Cult Corner is it's what we do on the main podcast is in between those horror episodes when we kind of want to cleanse the palate a little bit, so to speak. We pick something that would be considered somewhat of a cult movie, but also basically has nothing to do with horror. We do bend those rules a little bit for like our summer events and stuff, but for the most part, in Cult Corner, we stay out of horror movies. So most of these you see won't be horror. So
Yeah.
go ahead and go through them.
Yeah, we'll get after him. So we kicked off Cult Corner last year with UHF.
Yeah, the opposite of horror. Right there.
Yeah, and then we went to Clockwork Orange, and then to A Scanner Darkly, then Highlander, and then this was our first Sucky Summer Cult Corner with Near Dark, and then Blackula to end the Sucky Summer, and then Wet Hot American Summer to not only end the summer but end this awards.
Yeah, and that
series.
literally came out on Labor Day, so
Yep.
that was a nice little way to end the summer. So
yeah, best Cult Corner.
these were determined essentially like the best and worst horror were in that, like, it's the highest rated movie we watched. So, and we judge this by a slightly different criteria. It's still stars, but like it's compared to these as opposed to say like the latest Hellraiser movie. So
Yeah.
what takes the award?
Yeah. All right. So we've got Clockwork Orange.
What do you got to say about that, Smoke?
Yeah, that's that. I definitely gave that. I forget if I gave it a 4.5, 4 3/4, or even a 5. Possibly. I know that I gave it pretty high marks. So yeah, that's a personal favorite of mine, especially when we're talking about non-horror. Although for some people to consider it horror, it's not a horror movie, but it's some pretty horrible things that happen, right?
Yeah, disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, horrific and how disturbing it can be at parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question though. I think that's one of those ones too that like most people that are into cult movies, they know about A Clockwork Orange, you know,
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
and the work of Stanley Kubrick and everything. So that's not a shocker.
Stanley Kubrick and Malcolm McDowell, fantastic.
Yeah, I got to pull up here, Smoke, real quick. You gave it 5 stars. I gave it 4. Tiana gave it 5. Donnie was the lone dissent.
Yeah.
He only gave it 2.5 stars.
Yeah. That's why I didn't say hard to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to argue that.
You're saying it is easy to argue.
It's easy for me to argue. Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, divisive because of kind of what they're talking about, you know. So you can definitely see that.
Yeah. All right. So we go from Cult Corner to Cannon Fodder.
Now,
All right.
Cannon Fodder is, if you don't tell by the logo there,
God.
it is literally Canon Films. We do random wheel spins from the Canon Films catalog, and then we talk about those movies. So every once in a while in the past, we have had movies that maybe weren't necessarily directly Canon produced, but were like distributed and stuff. So there's kind of a weird mix in that list. I think you run into 1 or 2 of those here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We start off with this abomination.
But they all in some way have something to do with Canon. That's the point.
This if you haven't seen the Frog Prince, just don't save yourself.
Yeah. How about you just go listen to our episode?
Yeah. There you go. All right. So and then we really started to get into the good stuff. So that was Braddock, Missing in Action 3, which we went out of order here, but
that's the Canon Missing in Action way. You got to go in order.
So, and then we went with Missing in Action 2, The Beginning, and then to Cobra. God, that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we kicked off Cannon Fodder, Sucky Summer with Life Force, and then ended Cannon Fodder with Sucky Summer with Rockula.
This is the movie that just won't go Rockula.
Yeah. All right. And then we ended this round for with Armor of God.
Yeah, good Jackie Chan classic, and the one that almost got him killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that had to get some bonus
The
votes, right? It almost killed Jackie Chan. So, what won the award, Donnie?
All right. So it was Cobra.
Ah, see, Jackie, you did it for no reason. Many years ago, you knew that one day we'd be giving out a cannon fodder award, but you still come up behind Sly.
All good.
Good
I think
for
you'll
him.
be fine.
Yeah, he'll just go swim in his
Yeah.
money.
So this was 4.5 cannonballs.
Yeah, I think basically the same criteria we use here, right? Like it's just the highest rated one that we had, because we really with a lot of these categories we've already been through them as far as like, we've already debated whether we loved or hated the movies and all that stuff. So we have an overall score. So we let those scores kind of do the talking, and this is another one here. And there were a couple of good ones there, but I think overall, in my opinion, it's been kind of a down year for cannon fodder. So hopefully the next calendar year will be a little bit kinder. I mean, there's a couple of really good ones here, but there was a couple of really bad ones. So
Yeah.
And for people that don't realize it or don't know this, we don't necessarily just choose the cannon fodders. I think we started off kind of doing that, but then we went to putting the movies on a wheel and letting the wheel choose, because otherwise we would probably end up just, subconsciously even picking all the greatest ones and then have a whole bunch of crap at the end. So
yeah, it would have
now
ended
we
up.
just spin a wheel to choose.
It would have ended up because believe it or not, we've done a lot of good ones, but there's still a lot of good ones out there that we haven't done. So we kind of like to keep it that way for a little while, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If we can help it at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And right, but we had already been saying that everything that we just said, and it still landed on Cobra. So go figure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. All right.
Sometimes the wheel is unkind and you get like the Frog Prince, and other times you get Cobra. So
yeah,
the wheel is the way, I guess.
I can run through some of these here, Donnie.
Yeah.
The Chucky in memoriam section. Now, last year we had a little video. I'll be honest with you, I didn't have enough time to go back through and make a little video for this, so we'll skip that part. But you can see what was the name of this? I always blank on the name.
That was Bloodbeat.
Bloodbeat, yeah.
Bloodbeat.
This picture you see here on the screen is like, you're probably like, what the hell is this? That's from the movie Bloodbeat, and this dude here, that's his dog, Chucky. And the funny thing is that we're pretty sure that Chucky didn't die in that movie. So I don't know why. I don't know. We got stuck on calling the in memoriam section for the animals that we have lost over the last calendar year the Chucky, but it was a good name, so we had to go with it. Right? So that's a good enough reason for me. But some of the ones that you have listed here, we've got a dog getting shot from The Curse of the Werewolf. That was over on Hammer Horror.
Yeah.
And Halloween 1978, dog gets strangled by Michael Myers. Boy, if there was really some visual video here, that would be pretty good. And Donnie would love it.
Yeah.
I think you would just mute it or or just walk away and go get something to drink for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And UHF, Fifi the poodle gets thrown out of a window. And in Hereditary, the dead dog near the end of the movie. If you've seen that, once again, over in Hammer Horror and Order, that movie, The Snorkel. God, I forgot about that movie already. Dog gets poisoned with a pill. Essentially, just because this dude didn't want to be found out, he just poisoned the dog. Yeah. Clockwork Orange, Alex's pet snake, Basil, dies off screen, but a snake did die, so we got to count it.
Yep.
Phantasm 2. I'm surprised there's not more than one. Actually, I think there kind of was 2 in this one, right? Because there's a rat that gets shot with a laser from one of the from that. But wasn't there another, there was something where there was an explosion and the cat or the dog or something like that? It's toward the end of Phantasm 2 that dies. So I call that there might have been 2 in that movie. House 1977. This is another one. I'm surprised there's not 40 in that wacko movie. House. There's a lizard that's killed by a falling chandelier and a goldfish that's dumped out of the bowl. So you've got 2 there. There you go. That's 2. Bram Stoker's Dracula. The horse is killed by vampires. Over on Crapsterpiece Theater, we had Vampires Suck. God almighty. Squirrel killed and then turned into a vampire squirrel. And then a cat that's killed off screen. Yeah, you heard that right. That's That's as stupid as it sounded coming out of my lips. Don't watch Vampires Suck, please. 30 Days of Night. That's another one I'm surprised there's not more than, multiple animals, but there are multiple dogs that were killed off screen. Shadow of the Vampire. A bat is grabbed mid-flight by Orlok and eaten. He's just like, he's having a casual conversation and just snatches a bat out of the air and just starts. So there's one of the better ones. And then I think the last one that we had listed was over on Grindhouse Gutter, and Massacre Mafia style smoke. There's a dog that's put off screen and then put into a serving tray. So I think that was their horse in the bed moment, right?
Yeah,
like The Godfather. Yeah,
yeah. Because half of that movie is, let's just face it, it's just a knockoff of Godfather. So there you go. There's no real award that we give to these. These are just mentioning. This is just mentioning all the horrible animal deaths that have happened over the last calendar year, not just on the podcast, but on the YouTube series. So, what do we got next, Donnie?
All right, so we're going to move on to Hammer Horror in Order.
Now, what's the purpose of the series that we do here, Smoke? What is Hammer Horror in Order?
Oh, Hammer Horror in Order. We go through all of Hammer's horror movies in order. No.
Yeah, there you go.
We got in chronological order. We take them from the first, movie that they made that was a horror movie all the way through whatever the last one is. And I guess we're going to be doing, because Hammer kind of came back around, right? And they've been producing some more stuff here. Now, not the same, of course, because you're going to have different people involved. But yeah, so we did have to go back and make an addendum, though. And I forget, that addendum was part of this, right?
Yes, that was in the last calendar, because I think it was like from December to May, give or take, something like that, where there were some movies that we had left out. Most of them were thrillers, because for the most part, we're talking about the horror movies, but we're also talking about the thrillers that Hammer did. So there was some that we had missed, so we had to go back, like you said, addendum and put those in. So those are here too, and I think we've worked up to 1962. So yeah, that's where we're at, in the order, the chronological order in which they've released. So Donnie, what have we done in the last year?
All right, so we started off with The Curse of the Werewolf. And we moved to The Shadow of the Cat. Then, Josh's favorite, The Snorkel.
Yeah.
And then The Stranglers of Bombay. And I think the Snorkel was one of the addendum ones.
It was, yeah. I think that's where it started, if I'm not mistaken, the addendum.
Yeah. And Never Take Candy from a Stranger.
Oof.
This was actually... And I want to say that this was the one. This is actually one of the only movies we've ever done on the podcast or otherwise where we did not have a rating for it.
Yep. And if you've ever seen that movie,
you understand why.
You probably know the reason, but go check out that video to understand the reasons why we didn't rate it.
All right. And then we did Hell is a City. And
I want to say that's where we got back out of the addendum, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Stop Me Before I Kill. Then we did Scream of Fear. Then we did Cash on Demand. I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we did Night Creatures. And then we ended the most recent one with Phantom of the Opera. So
lots of good titles there, right, Smoke?
Yeah, and where did we get back on track with? Because I forget where the addendum ended. Night Creatures was one that we had before the addendum, right?
Hold on, I can tell you exactly when it was, because just in case you want to go back and actually watch these things, in the proper order, because they still play out of order in the middle there. But the first addendum that we did was, I think we were right, and we were right with the Snorkel. And the last one that we did was Taste of Fear, aka Scream of Fear, from 1961. And then after that, with Cash on Demand, we got back on track.
All
right. So the top Hammer movie was Night Creatures.
Yeah,
I remember Smoke saying this, and it's listed right there. It said it reminded you of the Templar Knights, at least the images of the Phantoms, or Johnny from Karate Kid on a horse.
Yeah, I guess that's there too.
That was hilarious.
I will say this was probably my favorite from the last year, but there were a couple of close ones like Cash on Demand that were pretty highly, pretty highly considered. Because where did this start again? The whole wheel that you just did. Which one?
It started with the Curse of the Werewolf.
Yeah, so we had a few this year that were 3 hammers, which is kind of like for us. That's so far that's kind of middle tier. Good, really good, but middle tier because we're only going 0 to 5. That should tell you how good hammer stuff is. So yeah, Cash on Demand and Curse of the Werewolf, those were 3 hammers. So yeah, by a bit. Night Creatures was the highest. That was 3 1/4 hammers.
Yep. So
this year so far, the ones we've had on the show this year were, I think Curse of the Werewolf is the only one of the classic monster ones, right? We've gotten to this year because they kind of took a little hiatus.
Unless you count the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, that's true. It's Phantom
kind
too,
of, right? Yeah. So
true. Yeah.
I think story wise, not to go off on a hammer tangent. Story wise, I think Night Creatures was the best one by far.
Yeah.
Go check that one out.
Yeah.
It's all here on the YouTube channel. So, what is that on the screen? Jesus, what's that?
Yeah. So this was basically, and we don't have a whole lot of these, but we talk about the Golden Bomber. The Golden Bomber being the best of the Crapster Piece Theater movies, and rattle off a couple of the past winners, which I know was, I think the very first one that we did. It was.
Well, I think it was No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
Because this is the best, right? Yes.
Yeah, the best of.
If I'm not mistaken,
past Golden Bomber winners, No Holds Barred, and then, man, I'm blanking.
Well, we had. I'm pulling the old list up. We had. Where'd it go? Yeah, it was No Holds Barred because we didn't do that the first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have Crapster Piece at that point. Yes, it was No Holds Barred, and then, well, of course, I don't have last year's on here, so I don't remember.
It's all right. It probably wasn't.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, because
it really does.
Look, because it's the best of the turds doesn't mean it's not a turd. It's still a turd. It still stinks.
Yeah, it's just But
anyhow, do we even have a floater that year? Last year, I don't know.
We did.
A couple floating around in the bowl.
Yeah.
So.
Was it?
Yeah. So this is basically our rating scale. Floater is exactly what Josh just alluded to. It's still shit. But there's some redeeming qualities in it, so we rate it as a floater. A sinker is, you survived it. Not the worst, but it's not, there's not really any redeeming qualities in it. Yeah, whatever. And then diarrhea is like nobody asked for that.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah, worst of the worst.
By the way, I found it, and last year Troll 2.
Troll 2.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
How could we forget?
Yeah.
The pure insanity of Troll 2 took home the Golden Bomber. So what's going to get it this year?
All right. So we've got 2 nominees for the Golden Bomber. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, or Once Bitten. And ironically, I nominated both of these movies.
Yeah.
Or unironically.
Well, don't you feel fancy?
I can pick some good turds.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I should be the winner because if movies that I picked weren't good, then you should be the winner of this, right?
I
can
don't
always
know.
bring it back somehow.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But the winner of the Golden.
Wait.
What?
Before you say this, I'm going to say what won the poll last month. So if you're watching this and you voted, thank you. But Smoke, you're going to be happy or unhappy. I don't know. We're going to be watching Turkish Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
Later on this month. What is it? Dev Adam 2, I think is the actual name, something like that.
Yeah.
But Turkish Spider-Man. That's what we're going to be watching on Crapster Piece Theater this month. So, Donnie, continue.
All right. The winner of the Golden Bomber, Once Bitten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good time. It's goofy, but it's a good time.
Yeah, there was some moments where I was just like I remember this being a little more fun when I was a kid, but some things I kind of cringed at a little bit, but whatever.
It reminds me, in some ways, it reminds me of like when we watched Ernest Goes to Camp. you know, like where it's like this is tolerable, it's fine, but like you're like, yeah, why did I like this so much? And you know, when I was 10, why was this good? You know, but yeah, so it's similar to that in a way, but this is better.
It's kind of funny you mentioned Ernest, but yeah, more on that later.
Yeah, Ernest.
Yeah. So the burnt turd.
There's your big tease, guys. We're coming back to Ernest.
That's funny. But no, the burnt turd being the absolute worst of the worst.
Yeah, as
This
you can see, there's flaming cat turd on the screen.
Yeah, with flies on it. Oh,
Yeah,
man, that's just
nasty.
rough. Anyway, so the burnt turd nominees.
Oh, we have way more nominees for the worst.
Yeah, we do.
We only had two for the other one.
Yeah, Ghosts of Mars, Josh, that was yours.
Mm-hmm.
You're
this is why I'm the big winner, because I picked the best crap.
Yeah. Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas.
I don't remember who nominated that.
I did.
No, I was about to say, yeah, I had to watch this. Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah. But and then movie 43, Josh, that was your nominee.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Part 6, Josh, that was also your nominee.
Yep.
And then
I had a little hot streak this year.
Yeah, a little bit. And we did Vampires Suck, which I think was Tiana's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that.
winner of the burnt turd, which is the worst Craftsman piece, which, you know, splitting hairs really, but
burnt hairs.
It was Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. This is what I was saying. So yeah, it got the diarrhea rating, but this is what I was saying. You said I'd watch Ernest Saves Christmas on a nonstop loop with toothpicks in my eyes before I would ever watch this piece of shit again.
Smoke, your quote's pretty good there too. Not even people who are diehard Christians would get much out of this. It's not even a movie; it's just a rant. And he's right. Like, it's not even. It's something closer to propaganda, but I don't know what for. You know, like even if like you're pro Christianity, like, you know what? Maybe not anymore. It's so bad. It is so bad. I want to say it won like the golden, you know, they have the Razzies every year, the golden Razzies, which is the opposite of the Oscars. I'm almost positive it won the Razzie, you know, for like worst movie that year. So yeah, it holds up. They picked the right one.
There was also, and I was looking for while I was kind of making this, or you know, I was kind of researching it. They had like a side by side comparison of like movie posters between this one and Last Action Hero, and we're just like, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
I could see the similarities, but like, leave it up to whatever genius has marketed this to compare it like Schwarzenegger. One of Schwarzenegger's worst.
Yeah. I guess let's move on because we've already spent too much time.
Good riddance.
All right, on to a little bit more juicy.
Down the toilet.
Yeah. So this is the Kill Count Award. This is really kind of Tiana's segment, Tiana's thing. But all right. So the nominees for basically the highest kill count is The Purge election year, They Live, and 30 Days of Night.
So these are I guess the kill count. I was thinking gore score. I'm sorry. I was going to say Terrifier 2 should probably be here, but these are without a doubt three of the more gorier movies. Well, other than They Live.
Yeah. You're just talking
these
about.
These other two are pretty gory. So like, but yeah, this is just the body count, right, so to speak. So,
yeah, the body count. Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, this is kind of what you're.
I interrupted for no reason. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And the winner of the Kill Count Award, 30 Days of Night with 117.
I think it was pretty close with the other one.
It was 116 with
just one less body that we can count.
Yeah.
From The Purge than this one.
Yep.
You know, although The Purge should have counted an extra death for Smoke because he killed us on that one. Should be an extra death on.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Purge series. Yeah, you could say it's kind of like Also, I'm not the biggest fan of the Scream either, but that's neither here nor there.
Now we're going to turn into the All-American Scream Purge podcast. Round it out with Chucky, and it'll just be me sitting by myself because these two guys they just quit.
Yeah. Fuck Chucky. Anyway. All right. So moving on to Smoke's Smoke segment.
That's the best. That's the best picture, by the way.
I'm pretty sure we've ruined that shirt. But
yeah, Smoke, is that shirt standing up on its own somewhere in your house right now?
Yeah, it's over at the corner or something. I mean, it's the fake blood on it is just,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, you had fake blood? Oh no! So, what's the premise of the gore score, Smoke? Explain it to us.
Oh well, it is also. Well, I got this here too. So, for anybody who, I mean, obviously, if you've seen any of these episodes, you probably heard me talk about it before. But it's Chaz Balin, one of my favorite horror columnists, the late Chaz Balin. He came up with the gore score, and I believe probably in Gore, what is it, that magazine? Fangoria's sister magazine. Gore. Shit, can't think of the name of it right now.
Blood Red, is that?
No, the Fangoria's kind of sister magazine, Gore Zone. Gore Zone. So he used to do that in there, and then he had his own. He put out a book called The Gore Score, where he rated horror movies. He had his own like star rating thing, but then he would rate the gore on like a 0 to 10, and that was called The Gore Score. So also this Deep Red Horror Handbook. In the back of that, he also has gore scores for A to Z of horror movies. So that's where the namesake of the gore score comes from, Chaz Balin. And so we rate the gore in the movie from 0 to 10. A lot of times I'll refer back to Deep Red or the Gore Score book and kind of see if it's an older movie, what Chaz rated it, and kind of go from there. Sometimes I'll agree with that, and other times I might bump it up or down, just depending. A lot more movies have come out since these publications back in the late 80s, early 90s. So that's where the Gore Score is born and what it's about. So we do it for each regular podcast episode.
Yep. All right. So the nominees for the Gore Score Award are City of the Living Dead, Bliss, and Terrifier 2. And the winner is...
All right. Smoke, what are you saying here? It is?
I'm saying it is City of the Living Dead, a.k.a. the Gates of Hell. Now
I was going to say this might be a little bit of an upset here because I was thinking like Terrifier 2 is going to take this running away.
This might be a little bit of bias on my part. It could be. It could be.
A little bit.
That I'm a huge Fulci fan. And this does not to take away anything from Terrifier. If you were to put these two up against each other in sheer gore quotient, it probably would be Terrifier 2. But again, it's probably just my bias on it that won over these two.
That's fine. I mean,
yeah, and that's your.
it's your segment. It's your opinion.
Yeah, it's your segment.
But I think anyone that knows anything about the Terrifier series and specifically Terrifier 2 knows that that's nonstop brutality, and it will come back up here over the next 30 minutes to an hour, however much longer we go. It's going to come back up. So we're not completely shitting on that, but I think City of the Living Dead is great too, though.
Yeah, something else you did mention is it's up there on the screen. Your quote, you said that you have a special affinity for those 80s splatter flicks, and that I think that reflects here in your selection here.
Yeah, and especially the Italian ones.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's your segment, it's your opinion. I'm not going to argue it, but Terrifier 2 needs to be recognized, like you said, that's there and it should be, but like this one, for what it is in the time period and everything, it's pretty damn gory too, no question.
Yeah. Hell, maybe for it to be a more fair thing, maybe I ought to come up with how we do the old and new. Maybe we should do a gore score for the old and a gore score for the new.
Yeah.
Well, and we did kind of talk about that in the Terrifier 2 episode about possibly making like a 10, higher
it goes down to 10, but maybe there's a 10x, 10 plus, something like that, where it's like then there's extreme, and this is But even that
Sure,
being said, this movie
Yeah, it could be there.
for that time period.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
different because there's a 40-year gap. You know.
Yeah.
There's a 40-year gap, and there was a time, in the 80s where it wasn't as prevalent in the mainstream. Fulci's City of the Living Dead, aka Gates of Hell, was not playing at the AMC, whatever equivalent of AMC theaters would have been back then. But Terrifier 2 is, which is a strange thing that it's kind of flipped around that way. You definitely wouldn't have seen a movie as gory as Terrifier 2 in the theater back in the 80s. Not without it being unrated and run no ads running on anything for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, or theaters probably wouldn't have even carried it because it was unrated. So yeah, we've come a long way that way at least. But but yeah, I think maybe.
So to me, it's somewhat of a surprise, but it's not a shocker because this deserves it. But it is somewhat of a surprise.
Yeah, so I said maybe next year around we'll split up the categories and the highest score for an old movie and the highest score for a new movie.
Yeah,
because otherwise I'm probably just going to keep leaning biased towards the older movies.
Good point.
Yeah, maybe we can do that.
All right.
What we got next there?
All right. So yeah, this is actually the kill reel. Which
yes, it's that wonderful time of year. Now this let me take that little nice graphic that Donnie made. Let me take that off the screen because shit's about to get real.
And it's funny because as you all are watching live, Smoke and I have also never seen this. This is the big reveal for us too.
I put it together. I'm the only one that's seen it until for some reason, I decided to put my wife through it. I was like, somebody's got to see this. So I let her watch it. And she ran from the room vomiting uncontrollably. So that's what you're in for, fellas. So here we go. Hopefully everybody can see it and hear all that jazz. So here we go.
Something needs to be done about that fire. Have you got the poker?
Yes.
Well, let me have it.
What did you say?
What are you, deaf? I said let me have it.
just might come true.
No, you're hurting me! No!
Nothing unusual, I see. Nothing unusual, I see.
Here they come.
How's that for a wake-up call?
I can't die with all those lines on my conscience! All that blood on my hands! Ah! Ah!
Our contingencies, every missed train, the failed picnics, every lie to a child.
Oh, God!
you go.
Dang.
Rough.
Yeah.
The brutality. The
We're still
brutality
in
of
the
it
air.
all. Are we? Oh, yeah.
YouTube
that's it.
didn't kick us off.
Still here. Yep, no, I think we're still around. When
That was awesome.
I actually loaded it up to
No.
YouTube, and we will make that available. I'll make it public because I actually uploaded it, but it's unlisted. But I'll make it public as soon as this stream is over. And if you want to watch that over and over again, then go for it. And last year's kill reel was on here too. But yeah. See my point? I think I told you guys offline. Like that makes even bad movies look awesome.
No
When you
doubt.
watch it, you're like, fuck yeah, it was a great year. And then when you have to try to actually sit there and watch those two Hellraiser movies, oh fuck. Right? Like those two that you saw from Hellraiser, those were the best moments. The rest of the hour and a half of those movies are god awful, but those moments, pretty cool. So yeah, once again, another cool look back. And the whole point of the kill reel is it's made up of each episode, each horror episode we do. My thing is I give out the highlight kill. So that's the next award, right? We have the highlight kill award. So this is every episode is completely determined by me. I pick the kill in that movie that's kind of like maybe the nastiest or the highest impact or like the biggest moment, that kind of thing. So that's what you just saw in the last calendar years, all the biggest, goriest highlight moments. So I kind of put everything together, and this is what I determined was the winner.
Terrifier 2.
So Smoke didn't give it the Gore Score Award, but it still gets an award. It gets a Spooky for the highlight kill. And that kill right there specifically, that picture you see, that was in the movie. That was Allie. Sienna is the main character of the movie. It's her friend that gets butchered by Art the Clown. And it is brutal. I think we said in the episode, it's like one of those ones where Damien Leone like grabs you and says, "Watch this," and stare. Like it's just brutal.
Yeah.
And
it spans. It probably, God, man, it's just a long kill.
Yeah, it's a solid 5+ minutes of the movie. It's just him just mutilating.
Yeah. Now it's not straight through. You know,
no, it kind of goes out,
jumps around.
Back. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you forgot he's over there massacring her. Let's check back in, and then you see it again. So it is brutal. So yeah, there's some really good ones this year, and you saw them, like that drill scene and what was that?
Oh yeah,
City of the Living Dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is brutal. There's some really good ones, but yeah, I think if for no other reason than that scene in particular, and just that whole movie in general, Terrifier 2 takes it. So that's my 2 cents.
All right. And then we move on to Video Vortex.
What is the Video Vortex, Smoke?
Video Vortex is we take anything that was not anything. We kind of redefined the Video Vortex this year too, but things that were released direct to video, whether it be in the video stores in the 80s or nowadays to streaming services. But we kind of honed in on some just to make it, because we were getting things like the DC animated universe, which is fine, but I mean it's not necessarily what you think of when you think of the Video Vortex, So yeah, we kind of redefined what it was to more so get movies like what was some of our top ones, I guess, of Video Vortex.
Samurai Cop.
Yeah. Things like that, to fall more in line with that feeling of direct-to-video stuff from the 80s and 90s primarily, but some new stuff we'll get in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the highest rated ones we've done so far, just since we started this series back in February of 2023, were Samurai Cop from 1991, Microwave Massacre from 1979, and Holy Shit from 2022.
Yeah.
And Bloodlust from 1992. So what are the nominees? I think I just named them all, right?
Yeah, well, not all of them, but we started off, I guess, our new year with Warhead. Forgettable.
There was only one scene I remember from that, and that's the dude like sitting at his desk and gets blown out of the side of the building. That was all. Yeah. But that's like the first one thing.
Yeah, that is the very, very beginning of it, right? Basically, one thing that was weird about that movie for me is that I was at a convention. I think it was Mad Monster, maybe in Charlotte, and I came across that movie on VHS before we
Yeah.
recorded the episode,
I
which
remember
was
that.
weird.
Yep.
Just a synchronicity there.
So you personally own probably one of like 12 copies that got out.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Thankfully, they didn't mark it up too much. I think I paid all of maybe $2 for that.
Yeah.
We also covered Hands of Steel, very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Batman Bad Blood, which we talked about.
Mhm.
And then Dice Clay and Brain Smasher, a love story.
Which for some reason has a lot of views, I think, on here, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Amityville, A New Generation.
Mm.
The aforementioned Microwave Massacre.
Oh, classic, yeah.
And also Holy Shit.
Mm. That's not a declarative
That was
statement.
Yeah, that is the title. Holy Shit. And Holy Shit of a different variety. Night Hunter.
Yeah.
And Bloodlust. And we ended this year's Video Vortex with Terminal Force.
That is an eclectic mix of stuff right there.
Yeah.
And that defines Video Vortex more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
Just look at those movies. It's just crazy.
Yeah. All right.
And
And
another side note, Terminal Force was the one that I watched the wrong Terminal Force.
No, yeah. You watched like was it Bridget Nielsen and Galacticus?
No, it was Galaxus.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah,
we're talking about it beforehand. And you're like, yeah, Richard Mall popped up. I'm like, Richard Mall? He wasn't in that movie. And then we figured it out. You watched the wrong movie.
Yeah, I watched I guess a movie that was retitled to that.
Yeah, for some reason we didn't look into it, but apparently it's Galaxus. But for some reason, in some places, it's Terminal Force, and then that's what you watch. But I doubt that one's any better.
No. But the winner of the Video Vortex Best Movie was Microwave Massacre.
That's my vote. There's no question. I mean, we had a couple of good ones. We really did this year. I think it was a little better than what we've done previously. But yeah, that one was a lot of fun. I mean, you see it there. Donnie, were you not on that episode when we did it?
No.
Sometimes I forget who's there and who ain't.
No.
Did you ever get a chance to check it out?
No, I never did.
Dude, that's one you should. Honestly, that's one that we should do on the podcast because it is so nutty. Donnie, all you need to know is this: the main guy in the movie is the dude that did the voice for Frosty the Snowman back in the old 60s cartoon, Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like Burl Ives.
No. The guy that's like the voice. I forget the guy's name, but like the guy you see on the poster right there on that art, that guy on the left, that's the voice of Frosty the Snowman. And in this one, he's a cannibal. So, there's that.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
And he has some interesting lines in there, so you can kind of picture Frosty the Snowman saying that because his voice is basically he doesn't change.
I believe we dropped a couple of those. We dropped a couple of those quotes in that episode. So stay here on the channel. Go check those out.
Oh. All right. So we're gonna transition over to Spook Show Surprise. So this was actually a category we literally came up with like maybe a week ago.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was about a week or so ago.
Yeah, so
last year or two we did like funniest moment or WTF moment, and we kind of just swept those to the side and decided to. Those will be the kind of things that we'll talk about when we do the 6th anniversary episode on Halloween. So we kind of left that there and we put this in. Now the premise here is these are movies that we watched that surprised us. That were like, oh man, this is gonna suck. And then we watched it and it's like, you know what? That wasn't too bad. So we don't have a definitive list here, but we came up with a few, right?
Actually, we don't even have a few. We have a outright winner.
Okay.
For this one. Yeah.
And what was it?
All right. So the winner of the Spook Show Surprise, Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Which we covered on Video Vortex.
And this is why I haven't said much. Bloodlust has come up a couple of times here tonight, and I haven't said much because I wanted to save it for this moment. This movie right here surprised the hell out of me. I was like, I don't know about you, Smoke, but I had like super low expectations. Like, oh man, this seems straight to video bullshit, from what year was this, 92, whatever it was. This is going to be horrible. Yeah. And we watched it, and damn if it isn't fun. I mean, it's hilarious. And I think it's the kind of movie that we need to talk about more because more people need to know about movies like this. You know, this is one of those ones that gets swept under the rug for various reasons. Trust me, like The Granny. These are those kind of movies that honestly, that probably should have been a nominee. That should have been on the list, The Granny. Something like that. Because Donnie, you and I knew about The Granny, but like none of the rest of them knew about it. So like, these are the kind of movies that I like springing on people. Like, you know what? You might think this sucks, but check this out. You know, so.
Well, it's also what you say in your quote. Actually, on that episode, you said this is the type of movie we envisioned when we came up with the video vortex concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Smoke also said that it feels similar to Samurai Cop and Street Trash, just with at its heart.
This is the kind of movie like don't expect it to be good in the sense of like you know what these actors are good and the story is good. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that this is the kind of movie you're going to watch and you're going to have fun with it because it's so goofy, over the top, silly kind of stuff. You know, like Samurai Cop, right? Stuff like that. So, like, yeah, absolutely. That's what the video vortex was made for, in my opinion. No question. It's a good flick, and you should go check it out. And it's probably you can probably watch it for free here on YouTube. I don't remember. It's like it's one of those. You know, it's like probably shouldn't be hard to find.
All right, so we'll move on to Scream King and Queen. So basically, what this is the act. Well, it's mainly on the cast side. The actors or actresses who have had the highest rated Spook Show episodes. It's also based on appearances as well, but we actually had a first. For this year, the winner of the Scream King Award, there's actually two. So it's Dwight Fry and Edward Van Sloan. That was for Frankenstein from 1931 and also Dracula of the same year.
Both of those pictures are awesome. Awesome in their similarities too, where it's like the light is underneath the chin, kind of thing. But it's shots,
yeah. And then that was the first time we've ever had two Scream Kings.
So two Scream Kings rule the world.
Yeah, and last year it was actually Bruce Campbell, but this year it's we turned back the clock a little bit.
Well deserved.
And then the Spook Show Scream Queen was Winona Ryder. There wasn't really a whole lot of a whole lot of competition for this year, at least on the actress side. Winona Ryder, she was in. She connects back to previous Spook Show episodes of at least this year of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which this image was taken from, and also A Scanner Darkly, which we covered on Cult Corner. So while not technically, Scanner Darkly is not a horror movie at all, but
she appeared in it.
Yeah, she appeared in it.
Did on the show, yeah.
And that's what it's about.
And it's ironic too because Beetlejuice just came out in theaters.
Yeah, which you gave your 2 cents in.
Yeah. Go check out our TikTok and I think a couple of various other socials. I weighed in on my 2 cents on that one. I liked it, but yeah, she reprises her role from Beetlejuice in that one. So go check that one out.
Yep. I don't remember what else. Oh yeah, this one.
Oh God.
The worst movie award, which actually last year the worst movie award was Cats, which Josh starred in, as you see here.
That this Photoshop job here you did is as good as anything that appeared in that movie.
Yeah, well,
Except they had to go in and like digitize cat ass out of it.
Hey, as long as the check clears.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's the name of your autobiography, right? As long as the check's clear.
Yeah, so we have quite a bit here, but the worst movie award.
Now these are just like you'll see with the last category, the best movie award. These are essentially what we did is we compiled the nominees from each thing that we do. So like this is the worst Grindhouse, right? And then we do worst cannon fodder,
Cannon.
or all so on. So
Yeah.
you'll mention that as they go along, but that's what these are. These are all the nominations from the worst of each thing that we do.
Yeah, so this was the worst Grindhouse, and that was Grindhouse Gutter. It was Monsters Crash the Pajama Party. And then we also have the worst cannon, probably ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not ever. But
Look at the tall frog hanging on the moon like an ass. What a horrible, horrible movie.
that movie sucks so bad, dude. But yeah, so then we also have
open assholes.
Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas also won the Burnt Turd. And you really could, if it wasn't just this year, you could loop any Hellraiser movie in here.
I think every year it's one of the Hellraisers is getting nominated, like for the last 2 years, I think.
That's why it's taken us almost 3 years to get through the whole damn series, because we were just like, fuck.
We have come and gone with other series in the time that has taken us to finish this, and we're still not done with it.
Oh no. Yeah, we need to have a party whenever.
We need an intervention is what we need.
Yeah. All right. And then we have the worst of Hammer, which was the Stranglers of Bombay. At least, the worst that what we covered this past year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the worst of, I don't know, fucking Vortex, I think.
Yeah, that was Video Vortex.
Amityville, A New Generation. And this next one is not really. It's really just the worst of the Cult Corner, the worst rated. We don't really consider this the worst movie.
And I will add too, that's only because Cult Corner has a higher threshold.
Yeah.
We're actually comparing Blackula to Goodfellas. And I mean, we are, right? We're comparing it to Goodfellas and Memento and like some really good, like legit good movies. Yeah. So when you look at it in that context, like,
Also, because Blackula, that was during our Sucky Summer thing. Generally, Blackula would probably be more geared towards the Grindhouse Gutter episodes.
Absolutely.
But because it was, Sucky Summer, we put that in there because we had already had Grindhouse stocked with other vampire movies.
Yeah, well, plus we did a wheel there. I think it was a wheel for Cult Corner. But it was good poll. All right.
Hey, wait a minute. Before you announce this winner, look, we got a comment from Tiana. Hey.
Yeah.
So we've got Tiana checking in from parts unknown.
With the Ultimate Warrior.
She's out there.
All right, the winner of the worst movie. Kirk Cameron, Saving Christmas.
Tiana, you came in just in time.
Yeah.
Just in time for this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, we can probably move on from this.
Yeah, we've already said this. It's bullshit. Yeah. Just read what was on the screen there. It's bullshit.
All right. Yeah. So, Best Movie Award. This will actually kind of close out Spookshow Awards.
This is it. This is the creme de la creme. This is our equivalent to the Oscars Best Picture, right? This is the big one.
Yeah. Yeah, and all a little controversial also, which we'll get into.
Mm-hmm.
But Best Movie Award nominees are Maniac.
Once again, these are from the best from each category again, right? So that's the best Grindhouse, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we also have the best Cult Corner was A Clockwork Orange. The best canon, which we had as Cobra.
Chef's kiss.
All right. And the best video vortex was Microwave Massacre.
Batshit insanity.
The best Hammer horror in order was Night Creatures. And in a class by itself, the Golden Bomber.
It's almost funny to put the best from Crapsterpiece on this. But,
I know.
Here we are.
Seriously.
Here we are.
Well, Troll 2, not really.
Yeah, but one of these things are not like the other, right?
Yeah, certainly. We've got Once Bitten. And Alien was
the original, 1979.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the Spooky for best movie. This is the best movie that we feel that we have watched, not only here on the podcast, but over on our YouTube channels, Patreon, everything that we do, all encompassing. So what was the leading vote getter, Donnie?
Leading vote getter and winner was Alien.
5
Although-
stars.
Yeah, 5 stars all through and through. Though it is worth mentioning that this was a I would say that there was some debate among this best movie category. Which Smoke, you want to tell everybody what your pick was?
Oh yeah, my pick was I went with Maniac.
And
Yeah.
honestly,
Go ahead, Donnie.
no, you've been saying for even before we covered that movie, you've been saying for years, oh, we have to get Maniac on it. You've been talking about it for a number of years.
Yeah, we didn't put it on. Well, I got it on the Grindhouse Gutter, but we haven't done
No.
it on the regular podcast yet, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one that there's all kinds of backstory to that movie that I think it deserves its own podcast episode, full episode at some point down the road.
Good call.
I mean, look, that's a great movie, no question. This is just my opinion. I don't think it stacks up to Alien, but it's almost not even fair to compare. I know that's kind of that's the exercise we're playing here, right? Let's compare, but it's really not fair to compare. But because I think as great as that is for like a grindhousey type of movie, Alien is for like just a regular horror movie, sci-fi type flick. It's just two different apples and oranges, right? But
Yeah, and
I
it's
love
also
both movies.
It's also worth noting that Tiana had her own pick, and she picked A Clockwork Orange.
That's another one. Like you're not going to argue it.
I am.
But okay. Donnie's going to argue it. I'm not going to argue it too hard. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Although I didn't like it as much as Tiana and Smoke did, but I still love that movie. It's a great Stanley Kubrick classic. So, you could see it, but I feel for what we do, giving Alien the crown is the one that was deserved this year, in my opinion. So, but those other ones are great. And look, that's the way it should be, in my opinion, as far as best picture. There should be some dissent, and you're going to get some of that because that was 6 or 7 great nominees, man.
Yeah.
All of them other than Once Bitten, right? It's kind of there just because it's just Golden Bomber. But
guess the category.
Other than that, like all those other ones are great in their own ways, right? So like, I hate to belabor the point, but you get it, like they're all great. So
Yep. And that wraps it up.
yeah, that is it for the 2024 All-American Spook Show Awards. We thank you for joining us here for the last hour and a half or so. And we encourage you to stick around here on the YouTube channel. We've got lots going on, as we've talked about for the last hour and a half or so. Video Vortex, Hammer Horror and Order, and Grindhouse Gutter are 3 series that we have just about every week, every month. And, of course, the All-American Spook Show podcast every Monday at 6 p.m. East. They come out, and they also live here on the YouTube channel. That they usually go up like the quote unquote video version of it, although it's just jumping waveform or whatever. But you can listen to it, watch it here every week, or you can listen to it any way that you get your podcast. We encourage you to go to patreon.com/AASpookShow and become a patron. You get tons of bonus content over there, so we encourage you to do that. And I will let you know here now, we haven't landed on what we're doing yet, but we're about to do a little bit of an overhaul over on Patreon. So if you have waited until like, I don't necessarily like some of these things that you guys are doing, we're about to change it up a little bit. And we also encourage you, if you want to reach out with an idea, something you might like to see from us, something you might say, you know what, I don't like this, but if you did this, I would consider being a patron. So let us know, throw some ideas at us, because we're always open to changing some stuff up, and God almighty, for the last hour and a half or so, you've seen everything that we do. We do tons of stuff.
We do a lot.
We mix it up. We mix it up with a lot of different stuff, and we're always open to new stuff.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to change directions, and we're not afraid to say, you know what, we haven't been doing that. Maybe we should do that. So hit us up. You can email us at allamericanspookshow@gmail.com. You can find us on all the socials and direct messages, whatever. We're an open door. You can go over to Smoke's house, leave a flaming bag of poop. However, you got to get your message across, And his address is
Right.
So, anyways, yeah, there you go. That is that's the All American Spook Show. That was 4th annual, right, Donnie? That was
Fourth. Yeah, this is fourth.
right here, 4th Spookies. So they're in the book. So, as of the airing of this, tomorrow, the next episode that comes out on the podcast feed is Alien, and as of the actual airing of this audio version of this episode, next week, oh, we got a big one. We're in full-fledged spooky season. We're in the month of October now, and we're going to be talking about one of the bigger ones from the last couple of years. We're going to be talking about the Black Phone over on the Spook Show. So lots going on, lots coming up, and we're headed long down the path on Halloween. We've got the 6th annual anniversary, or 6th annual. That's the way anniversary work. The 6th anniversary, the 6th annual day of our birth. That's another way of putting it. That comes up on Halloween. So for Will and Tiana, who couldn't be with us, Donnie, the Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All American Spook Show, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Later.